What's the most spectacular way you've seen petty revenge backfire? I was going to ruin my ex-best friend Maya's life by exposing her affair. Instead, I accidentally exposed our beloved community theater director as a predator who had been grooming teenagers for over a decade. Maya and I had been inseparable since kindergarten, until she torpedoed my engagement by sleeping with my fiancé. The betrayal was absolute. After the fallout, she got everything, the friends, the social standing, while I became a recluse. My anger festered for 2 years. I watched her life on social media, a curated feed of happiness that felt like a personal insult. Then I found my weapon. I learned she was having an affair with Mr. Henderson, the charismatic director of our local theater, a man who was practically a town saint. He was married, a father, a mentor to dozens of kids. It was perfect. I was going to expose her as a homewrecker and bring her perfect world crashing down. I spent a month gathering proof, screenshots of texts she'd foolishly sent a mutual friend, a photo of her car parked outside his house late at night. I created an anonymous email address and drafted a 5-page letter detailing the affair, complete with my evidence. I sent it to his wife, the theater's board of directors, the PTA president, and our local newspaper. I hit send and felt a grim satisfaction. I imagined the phone calls, the arguments, the public shame. The next morning, my phone started blowing up, but the messages weren't about Maya. They were about Mr. Henderson. The newspaper had run a story, but it wasn't about an affair. My email had prompted another woman to come forward, a former student of his, then another, and another. It turned out Mr. Henderson hadn't just been having an affair with Maya. He had a pattern. He'd find lonely, impressionable high school girls in the theater program, shower them with praise and attention, make them feel special, and then leverage that power. Maya wasn't a homewrecker. She was his latest victim, just one in a long line. My petty revenge had stumbled into a mass grave of secrets. I felt like I was going to be sick. I had wanted to hurt Maya, but I had inadvertently painted a target on the backs of a dozen other women, forcing their trauma into the public eye. I went to the police station, not to confess, but to give a statement. I told them everything I knew about Maya and him, framing it as a concerned friend. The detective, a weary-looking woman named Miller, listened patiently. "Your email was the domino," she said, her face unreadable. "We've had whispers about him for years, but no one would go on the record. You just blew the whole thing wide open." Maya was a wreck, but not for the reason I had hoped. She was humiliated, terrified, and now the face of a town-wide scandal. I saw her at the grocery store a week later. She looked thin, haunted. She cornered me in the cereal aisle. "Was it you?" she whispered, her eyes red-rimmed. I couldn't lie, I just nodded. I expected her to scream at me, to hit me. Instead, she just looked at me with a hollowed-out expression. "You know, the worst part is, I thought he loved me," she said, her voice breaking. "I thought I was special." And in that moment, my 2 years of hatred just evaporated. It was replaced by a profound and sickening shame. I had been so consumed by my own pain that I couldn't see hers. My quest for revenge hadn't made me a victor, it had made me an accomplice to a different kind of cruelty. The fallout was immense. Mr. Henderson was arrested. The theater was shut down. The town was shattered, forced to reconcile the man they admired with the monster he was. My role in it all remained a secret, a heavy, corrosive weight in my gut. I never wanted to be a hero. I just wanted to be even. And in the end, I got neither. The theater building was eventually sold and torn down. A small community garden was put in its place, with a single bench dedicated to the survivors. No one in town ever knew that the whole thing started with a broken heart and a poison pen email. I know what I did was for the wrong reasons, but it had the right result. And that's a truth I have to live with every single